What's up, first-class fans? Welcome back. I am the Elk, and this is, of course, This Week in the FCL. We're here to break down all the matches, all the news, and everything that's happening in our favorite first-class league. And this week, I am joined by, of course, my regular co-host, Ryan, the quote Permison is here, Keith Kilduff on the desk with all the stats that are fit to print, and our super producer, CB Chris Barnes, joining us today, as well as a very special guest, Travis, the Travesty Fishburn, will be joining us live in studio for This Week in the FCL as we talk all of the matches that went down this week. What an exciting week it was. Will Mystical Marr be able to take the victory over Alana Jordan, or will the Punisher punish him? Will Travis, the Travesty Fishburn, remain undefeated, or will he end up losing to his opponent, my favorite man in the FCL? That's right, Andrew Furtado, working for the champ himself, the Flirt and Flouse. We're going to talk about all those matches and everything else that's going on all this week in the FCL. This week in the FCL underway once again, another fantastic week of matches, and I am joined on the desk by all the best people, including this week our super producer himself, first in our hearts and our minds, CP Chris Barnes. How you doing this week?
I am very well. I'm happy to be back after a couple of weeks off. A couple of fantastic shows with Jill and Jen Kemp. So well done, guys, for not upsetting them too much. I had no emails from them saying they were thoroughly upset by coming on the show. So good job, guys. Let's crack on with it.
And as I know how to kiss up to all of our wonderful guests, the man who didn't upset everybody over those last couple of weeks, Keith Kilduff. Welcome once again this week in the FCL, stats man himself.
Actually, I want to bring up this, Andrew, because last week you called me Mini Frank Janish, and then you called me less attractive Frank Janish. So I went ahead this week and I workshopped a couple of new names, and I'd love to get some feedback from the group, especially you, Travis, seeing as you're new to the group, so fresh eyes and whatnot. So the first name I've kind of come up with is Digi Duff. You know, Digit, Kill Duff. I think it works. The second one I've come up with is the Numeric Noter. I think that's a nice little alliteration. And then my personal favorite. I love alliteration. I think it's good. And my personal favorite is this one, the sum of all Kilduffs. So, I mean, I'm happy for us to do a little kind of a vote or something, or maybe we can take it in the back and figure it out afterwards.
Well, it is always nice to see you here on the desk, Keith, because you break it down like nobody else can. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Crazy Keith Kilduff, or KKK, as he likes to be called for short. Also joining us on the desk this week, of course, the wonderful Ryan, the quote, Purposeful future FCL world champion. Ryan, how you doing?
Boy, that took a turn. No, I'm just happy to be here. It's great to be here. It's good to see all you fine gentlemen and the guests of the hour. The man with power, the man that's just too sweet to be sour, the Travesty himself, Travis Fishburn. Travis, welcome to the program, my man.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me. Very excited to be part of this.
And, of course, our special guest for the week. He is a man who is not follically challenged. What style, what grace, and a massive record in the FCL. I don't think I'm exaggerating at all, and everybody on the panel would agree with me when I say one of the top-rated and most feared competitors the FCL has to offer. Travis, the Travesty Fishburn, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And we appreciate so much having you here on the show. Guys, what do you say? Are you guys ready to get into the news for this week in the FCL?
Born ready.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk everything that's going on. Fans, of course, we got some great matches. We'll get beginning of those in just a little bit, but we'll talk about all the news that's happening. And first and foremost, here's one. I'm going to jump right to our special guest, guys. I'm sorry to leave you out on this one, but I need to hear from him first because I know he's got something to say about the champ himself coming out, the Flirt and Flouse. He stepped forward and he said, it's time. A defense has to happen. Who wants a shot? And Travis, just going to take a guess here. You do.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely want it. I wanted it before the Flouse even had it, so I'm had my eyes on that belt for a while.
And the way you're playing, you might have a chance at it soon, may even walk out of the match with it. Now, he is our special guest, but let's not give him all the special treatment. Keith, is Travis Fishburn the person that you expect to see in this upcoming title match for the Flirt and Flouse, or is there somebody else perhaps?
Well, I've been saying for weeks that I feel that the best road to the Flouse has been this idea of a triple threat. And I've said that perhaps Robert Montano should be in it. And then I thought that Travis, yourself against Schmoedown was kind of a number one eliminator for that third spot. We seem to be going in a different direction. But listen, after this week, you're at the top of the mountain knocking on his door. So,
We'll see.
Oh, very strong statement from Keith Kilduff with the Ryan, for number one contender match against the Flirt and Flouse. I know that your opinion is going to be as long as someone take the title off of him, you'll be happy. But who would you like to see in this matchup?
Yeah, that's true. Anyone who takes that title from that whatever person, I don't know, it's a Flirt something, whatever his name is, that would make me very happy. No, yes, if it's Travis that takes the title, whether it's my boy Robert Montano takes the title, whether it's Vanessa Fitzsimmons takes the title, whatever. Doesn't matter if it's a triple threat, singles match, whatever, fatal four-way elimination match like they tried to do at WrestleMania back in 2000. I believe it was WrestleMania 16. There you go. Fun facts for your young bucks living at home. But yeah, no, if Travis has a title match, it doesn't matter. I'll be there front row center because I want Flouse to be destroyed. I want him to be humiliated. And I want someone, whether it's you, Mr. Travis Fishburn, or anyone else out there, to bring honor, respect, and tradition back to the World Heavyweight title of the FCL.
Well, strong opinions from Ryan Permison. No surprise, not a fan of the Flouse. CB, Chris Barnes, your thoughts. Does Travis Fishburn deserve that number one contender shot? And if he's in there, will he win against the Flirt and Flouse?
Well, as you all know, being a kind of European over here in the UK, Brexit and all that, but still, technically we're in Europe still. I am a Flouse fan, massively a Flouse fan. And yes, he didn't quite get it, the title, the conventional way you would earn yourself a title belt. So does Travis deserve to have that shot? You can talk about Montano. You could talk about Vanessa Fitzsimmons, Schmoedown, Kofi Outlaw, who's already had a title shot. There's only one person who's 4-0 in the FCL, and that is our guest, Travis Fishburn. So there's only one person for it. There is only one person that deserves to get that title shot now.
But to be fair, I am the only person with the opportunity to be 4-0 thus far.
Doesn't matter. Well,
either way, I believe Chris Barnes is saying, let the record reflect Travis Fishburn is top of the mountain. I will say, I also am a big fan of the Flirt and Flouse. Play that music on repeat. He's surrounding himself with all the best people. And if you want to be mad about how he got the title, just remember, even people who lied to get the job still listed on their resume. Just ask any politician. They definitely were unqualified when they started, and they're probably unqualified afterwards. They're still going to tell you what they did for a living. So Flirt and Flouse is your champ, but if there's one man in the league who can take him to the limit, it's Travis Fishburn. If there's two, it's Robert Montano. If there's three, not a guy at all, probably like Vanessa. But either way, should be a great matchup, and I can't wait to see that title defense happen, no matter who's in it. If it is you, Travis, I will be watching with bated breath and rapt attention. Hopefully a great match coming out when that does happen. But we do know that it is potentially coming your way with Flirt and Flouse announcing it. So that's going to be a big matchup, and we're all very excited about that one. Let's move on to our next couple pieces of news here. Next up, Brad talking about some announcements potentially coming in the next few weeks. Ooh, Ryan Permison, this could be interesting for you. I know you're interested in getting into the FCL massive free agent signing announced by Booker T. Or not Booker T, sorry. Massive free agent signing announced by Brad Gilmore. Chris, you'll fix that in post, or you won't either way. I was thinking of Booker T because Booker T may be the free agent signing. But of course, as we all know, and I have to go to you first, Ryan Permison, to see if we can break the exclusive right here. It could be Ryan, the quote, Permison making his debut in the FCL. Thoughts?
Wish that was so. To be honest with you, I wish I could tell you that, yes, Ryan the Quote has been signed to a multi-year deal with the FCL to compete, to be the man, to be the Mac Daddy. I wish it were me, but unfortunately it's not. But then again, I haven't gotten a phone call. So if I get a phone call in the next 5 minutes or however long it is, a couple days, couple weeks, whatever, then I will be able to break that scoop for you. But for now, I can't. It's not me. I'm sorry to disappoint the millions of people who watch this program each and every week. Thank you, Chris. It's just, you're welcome, by the way. It's not me, but whoever it is, I hope it's a great superstar. I hope it's a great talent. I hope it's not another wannabe European music star known as the Flouse or an evil twin from the Flause's gene pool. I don't care. It must be from the shallow end because it wouldn't work. So as long as it's a great talent, I'll support it. If it's another wannabe musician or someone who wants to fly cows or flies pigs or whatever, then I'm going to have some words for the commissioner of this league. But other than that, I'm excited. I'm intrigued. Brad, you have my attention. I mean, you always get my attention, Brad. You're the host. But look forward to finding out who this talent is. If it's me, oh, man, that'd be the best thing since sliced bread. Am I right, Travis? Or if not, maybe something else. We don't know yet. But I'm intrigued, Andrew. I'm intrigued.
Well, it is obviously a big deal. We got someone new coming in. Brad is making an announcement about it. He's teasing us about it. So it's got to be a big name. Keith, Brad says, and I quote, the answer to all prayers and problems of this league. What does this mean? And do you have any ideas who might be making their appearance?
I was actually thinking about this, and I looked back in kind of the past few months and kind of last year as well. And a name popped up in interviews that I had forgotten. Cody Rhodes had said that he was interested in joining the Schmoedown. Booker T has been working in the background on something. So maybe it's Cody Rhodes. Maybe he is the answer to everything.
Well, I know that Cody Rhodes' father, Dusty, always flew first class, so perhaps we'll be seeing Cody Rhodes making his debut in the first class league. That is always possible. Travis Fishburn, the man on the inside, the man with all the knowledge, all the movie trivia knowledge, as well as the FCL knowledge. Have you heard anything? Any backroom rumblings? Has Brad accidentally left his door open a crack while he was talking to somebody on the phone? Anything you can give us?
No, I wish I could tell you something. I don't know. I'm just as in the dark as you guys.
Well, it could be a mystery person. I have no idea who it's going to be. Like I said, we've already talked a couple of big-name wrestlers, perhaps, with Brad's connections, Booker T, Cody Rhodes, real possibilities. Chris, you're a wrestling fan and a movie trivia fan. You must have some idea what Brad's talking about because you are on the inside of everything. You're our super producer, making the calls, booking the wonderful guests like Travis Fishburn to come on our show. What do you think about Brad's announcement? Who could we be seeing?
Well, Andrew, I'm a late 90s, early 2000s wrestling fan. So unless it's Booker T, that's the only person I can really think of, unless The Rock's going to show up. I have no idea who it's going to be, but he mentioned solving all the problems, answering all the prayers. You got to think he is not happy with the Flouse being the champion and how it's all come about. So maybe, obviously, Brad's got a book out, Back to the Future. So I'm thinking it's probably Doc Brown coming in with his DeLorean to turn the time back and finally take that belt from, obviously, someone I respect massively, Sir Flirton Flouse. But maybe that's what it is. Who knows? Who knows what it is? Brad's obviously keeping his cards close to his chest. We'll have to just wait and see.
Brad is a very intelligent man. He's a wise man. He knows to leave us wanting a little bit more, and some interesting possibilities posited by all the people on the panel today. Chris, I love your idea. Maybe an actor from Back to the Future, maybe somebody like a Biff or a Doc Brown, the actor showing up so we can see what they've got. I would love to see Commander Krug compete in movie trivia for sure. That would be a delight. Either way, it's going to be a big deal. And Brad was not done talking about a big free agent signing because there's one other thing, and this is one I think we've all been expecting on this panel. I think we've all been waiting for it on this panel. I know Travis in the league has been waiting for this particular announcement. The end of October, there will be a massive FCL event. This will be like spectacular, like WrestleMania. This is the big show to cap it all off and to show you what's going on in the year. I see title matches. I see big names showing up. I see a few potential surprises coming your way. What, in your mind, let's go to you, Chris, would be a dream thing to happen at this event? What do you want to turn on your computer screen or your TV and see happen at this big event? And how excited are you about this massive, massive occasion?
Much like the spectacular, I just want to see good matches. I want to see all the belts on the line. Maybe the announcement of some teams' belts coming down the line. Who knows? But I want to see Travis Fishburn take on the Sverton Flouse. That's where this should be happening. I want to see JC defending his Star Wars title. And, in a geekdom, the lot. I just want the lot. It just has to have the lot on there. And then a couple of undercards with, obviously, Doc Brown versus Cody Rhodes opening the show.
Not a bad card you got thrown in there, Chris. I'll throw in my own 2 cents and say maybe for the mid card, also give us that matchup that we've wanted, that late to the party Civil War, Robert and Vanessa facing off as well. That would be great on the card. Any other thoughts you might want to add to that card? How about Keith? What would you like to see?
Adams v. Adams. If we're talking Civil Wars, let's fire this up and add them to the card. Let's get 4 or 5 matches on this. As Chris said, if there's belts to be had, let's defend them here and there. And listen, if we have to go all night, so be it.
I did forget about the Adams. You're right, Keith. It's the power of the stash. I look at Travis Fishburn's face, and then I just completely forget about Chris Adams. I don't know why. I don't know if there's something going on there, but who knows? Either way, it should be exciting. Travis, how about you? You're probably, if I had to guess, at 4-0, going to be on this card. You're probably going to be in one of these matches. You're booking now. You're getting the gorilla position for this big show, and Brad is saying you can have anybody you want. Sign it on the dotted line. Get all of my contracts done and reviewed this time, because the last time it did not work out so well. What is the match you book for yourself? Any match in the world, triple threat, tag team, singles.
Wow, I don't know. I agree with the triple threat, I think, being the best way to deal with the title situation. I think that absolutely makes the most sense. So, whoever it may be, whether it's myself, Montano, Vanessa, Maxwell, I think that's definitely a possibility. I also think the JC thing is interesting, especially with the Cantina matches they've been having. It'd be interesting to see that one be a live one, like they've been doing with the Schmoedown.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fantastic. Of course, we're going to get a wonderful announce team on that big show. I'm sure it'll be Steph and Brad dressed to the nines. Steph telling us something completely random, as well as what she doesn't like about men this week, and Brad mispronouncing some actor's last name just the way it's supposed to be. In the end, though, the winner, by way of winning, will be all of the FCL fans watching that big event. Ryan, anything to add to the super event, end of October, FCL? What do you want to see? What big storyline moments do you want to see? What big matches?
I can't really add much other than I just want to see a great pay-per-view, great matches put on by great competitors who have earned their shot, earned their keep. And if it's live in front of a studio audience, whether it's in the Scum and Villainy Cantina like they've been doing most recently, as Travis pointed out with the MTS, which, by the way, great job. Great matches, live events, love it. I can feel the thunder and the lightning coming from my computer screen now. It's great. But anyway, I would love to see these matches take place in an arena full of people with safety guidelines, of course, because Earth is still slowly reopening. But still, if we do see a match between JC Reichman putting a Star Wars title on the line at his own cantina and he loses it, oh my God, what a headline that's going to be. Owner of your own business loses in one of the main events of one of the biggest pay-per-views of the century. How humiliating, how embarrassing would that be for JC? And quite frankly, JC, I respect you. I really do, because you have a lot of expertise. You run your own cantina. I applaud you. But at the same time, I kind of want to see what happens if you lose this thing in your own backyard. I would want to see that. I would pay good money. So I'm curious to see if there is going to be a Star Wars World Heavyweight title match, who's going to walk out the winner of that? I'm thinking Sonny, even though they would have to fly him first class over from Denmark or whatever it is he lives. But that's fine, because at the MTS, we spare no expense. So we'll bring you over, Sonny. You'll have a match in front of a live audience. You'll win the title, beat JC. It'll be fun. And by the way, I can't be there, but if I were there, first round's on me, Sonny. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. But yeah, that's what I kind of what I want to see. If JC Reichman puts his title on the line and he loses it, that's gonna be a giant headline on social media, as well as the newspapers that they still print, because everything's digital now. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but kind of is. So look forward to seeing the pay-per-view. Either way, whoever win, the bottom line is here, Andrew. The person who's gonna win this pay-per-view is the fans. And that's the best thing.
I think that is absolutely true. I would also add, if I can, one last note about this. Perhaps as the FCL is part of the movie trivia Schmoedown, maybe we'll see some Schmoedown luminaries showing up at this big event, maybe for an interview or just a cameo, maybe even some sort of exhibition in the middle, draw in some folks from the MTS. Who knows? Either way, like I said, everyone here at This Week in the FCL is super pumped about all of the matchups that will be coming our way, and especially that we're going to have such a big super event, our own WrestleMania. I can't wait. I know everybody else here can't either. And now a quick shout out to head question writer and this week announcer PLD for jumping on the desk for our matches. We had 2 amazing matchups this week. One of them was actually part of our guests activity this week. Travis, you were in one of those matches. So win or lose, we'll discuss that and all the other action as we turn it over to Keith Kilduff for this week's match breakdowns.
FCL23 kicked off with a Star Wars fight between Alana Jordan and Brennen Marr, the first players to play across all 3 divisions this season. Moving into round numero uno, it ends 9-5 to Brennen. Alana missing 3 of the first 5 questions here. We opened up in the New Hope, what was the full name of Luke's uncle, Owen Lars. Alana misses the next 2 in Jedi and Force Awakens, unfortunately, saying 36,000 credits is what Leia and Jabba have agreed on, 35,000 being the correct answer, and then not knowing that Rey lived in an abandoned AT-AT. They both hit the villain's question of Matthew Wood voicing General Grievous, and then unfortunately Alana missing the 5th question in Empire. What does Yoda say? Tell Luke that matters not during his training. Size, she says, not afraid. They both round out the last 3, knowing Revenge of the Sith, that Bail Organa is who rescued Yoda. Snoke's called Kylo Ren a child in a mask. And then the small screen Star Wars question at the end of Katie Sackhoff voicing Bo-Katan and playing her in The Mandalorian. For the bonus question, in Empire, which Rebel pilot said to Leia, 2 fighters against a Dark Destroyer, Hobby being the answer. 9-5. Andrew, I have to come to you first because this match must have killed you in the sense that it's 2 nice, lovely people having a wonderful time on screen together. But ultimately, looking at it, Alana seems to have fixed some of the mistakes that she's shown in knowing her cast, knowing her planets, but just let down on a couple of plot points.
I mean, I don't disagree with you that I see some mild improvement in Alana, and I also don't disagree with you. This round was completely frustrating for me as a fan of strategy, as a fan of conflict, as a fan of people really butting heads and fighting tooth and nail for every single point they can scrape out. It was torturous for me to sit back and watch these nice people have a nice time together. Ugh. Not going to put up with that for much longer. But Alana is improving. I like to see that still. Some work to be done for Alana. She is up against an incredibly strong competitor, as we will discuss, in Brennen Marr, but you're down by 4 at the end of the round. You're getting 5 out of 8. This is not the way you want a first round to go in the FCL. You're looking for that 6-point minimum. She is making the right move. She's going in the right direction, and I want to see that improve because obviously, outside of nice people in matches, I like nice people in real life. They're nice. Why wouldn't you? I like Alana quite a bit, and I want to see her succeed, but she needs to squeeze over that 6 line, that 7 line, get her first round into fighting shape, because when you fall behind early, even if it's not immediate, even if you don't see the effect that it has on you, you're going to be fighting from behind. You're going to have that stress. You're going to have that kind of worry in your mind. And it's much, much harder playing from behind to keep your calm and not make additional mistakes. And I think that might come back to Alana in this matchup. It's come back to her in other matchups before. But real quick, kudos, Brennen Marr on the first round. I'm going to be saying nothing but nice things about Brennen Marr for the rest of this because he is an incredible competitor, and what a way to start off this match.
Yeah, played a perfect game.
Definitely. Travis, if I can come to you for a second, you, in your previous match, you answered a few Star Wars questions in round 2, and I just want to kind of get a gauge off you. These questions in round 1, are these kind of the type of questions you were expecting in singles, or do you feel that these are very clearly separated divisions?
No, I feel they're separated divisions based on the kind of questions I got in singles, and when I got that category, I was like, oh, of course, the one wheel I didn't study on, but I apparently did not have to. Yeah, I think these kind of questions are, very clearly like in-world, a little deeper Star Wars questions. The bonuses in particular, as you noticed with Brennan's, having to remember the name of Javi, it's just goes a little bit deeper than the rest of those were.
Chris, you're a big Star Wars fan. What stood out to you in round number 1 here?
You say I'm a big Star Wars fan. Yes, I am a big Star Wars fan. I love the movies. I've read the books, only the canon ones, the non-canon ones who's got the time for all of those? There's too many. But I struggle to remember most of the answers for these anyway. So I know like I'm very much a surface level person. So if I see someone missing a question, I think, okay, yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't have got that myself. Alana, she missed some that I personally would have got myself. Brennen is the standout for me. Perfect first round. And as someone who we've seen so far compete in singles and win, competing in a Geekdom and win, it looks like we've got a proper triple threat on our hands here. He's a real deal all around. So that's the biggest standout for me, is just how he breezed through very calmly and was just so nice to Alana while he was beating her as well. It was just like fair play to him.
Ryan, in between all the answers in the character, what did you make of the pun off between Alana and Brennen? Because he was getting some jabs back at her later on in the first round.
Yeah. I like to refer to Elena Jordan as the queen of the FCL because she's just awesome-tacular like that. Yeah, the puns were great from her, and Brennen throwing some ones her way, or she missed out on an opportunity to present one to the 20,000 people watching at home, maybe millions of people. I'm sorry. And him coming at her like that, it's strange to watch some of these matches where there's no shade being thrown or there's no heel, there's no clear baby face. Everyone's just being nice, having a good time, like it's a trivia night at a party. It's not an FCL match where stakes are involved. And I'm not talking about real stakes. I'm talking about like stakes as in your career. I'm not talking about like a well done steak on a grill, okay? But it's weird seeing that. But yeah, Brennen is just steamrolling these questions. And by the way, I think I would have gone 7, if not 8 for 8. I would not have gotten the bonus question, though. Remembering that's a deep cut, seriously. Because I remember the scene clear as day. Am I right, Travis? I mean, 2 fighters against a Star Destroyer? I mean, we can remember that like all day, but you don't remember the kills. Unless you've like done a serious deep dive, like clearly that Brennen and other competitors within the Star Wars division have, whether it's here or in the MTS. But good first round, and Elena's Elena. She's just great. It's so hard. It's so hard to watch this match and not think, man, I want you to win so badly, but Brennen is steamrolling you, but at the same time, he's being nice about it. It's weird. It's weird, Travis. It's weird.
Yeah.
But you know what they say? Stranger things have happened in life. So good first round, good questions. To me, I would have gotten all of them, minus the bonus. So it's kind of a bit of a softball bit of questions, but they are good questions. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, good first round for both competitors.
Yeah, on the pun note, it would have been really fun for somebody to have made a boss Nass. He pronounces it punished when he says what Jar Jar is going to be. It would have been fun to see somebody do that.
There you go.
So listen, Brennen takes his 9-5 lead into round number 2, defers to Alana. The wheel's an interesting makeup. 6 of the 10 slices are movies. Opponents and spinners is put in, and then the wheel is rounded out with Jedi Order, small screen Star Wars, quotes, and then planets and locations. On Elena's first spin, Jedi Order comes up. She decides to spin away, gets Rise of Skywalker, and unfortunately this is where it all this is the tale of the tape ultimately of this match. First question: on what planet does Kylo Ren find the Sith Wayfinder at the start of the film? She says Exegol. The answer being Mustafar. Brennen steals 2 points. Second question, what is the name of the former stormtrooper who bonded with Finn? Jana being the answer. She said Rose. Brennen steals again. Third question, who appears to Kylo as a vision after his battle with Rey on the Death Star? She says Han and Leia. The answer being just Han. Brennen steals again. She gets the last question, what character has their memory wipe? C-3PO. But like the writing's on the wall, unfortunately, at this stage. Brennen comes up. First spin, Rogue One decides not to take it. And then just to kind of really bash things home, gets spinner's choice, takes Empire. First question, according to Yoda, how long has he taught Jedi? 800 years. We're getting into knockout range at this stage. Second question, who does P8 replace when he's promoted to Admiral by Darth Vader? Ozzy, I believe is the name.
Also,
Ozzy, thank you, Travis. Not good with Star Wars. It's been a constant theme of my season as well, trust me. And then, unfortunately, the final knockout blow, what sitcom actor plays Major Bren Durham, who was seen at the Rebel base of Hoth? John Ratzenberger. matter, and your winner by way of KO for the first time this season, 21-7. And Chris, Brennen starting off strong, no question, across all divisions, laying down big marker. But has he been tested yet?
In Star Wars, unfortunately, it seems this week, no, he has not. And looking back over, I've got the notes here of his previous matches. So in singles, it was the Flying Cow. It was the match for, I think Flying Cow's gone on. He's done very well since. I think that might be a bit of a test in singles for him. Do you know what I mean? But it seems like the Inner Geekdom Star Wars division is probably where Brennan's strengths probably lie more, which I think he probably hasn't. I would like to see him go on to do something, you know, maybe a Sonny, maybe a Matthew Reed in the Star Wars division. Someone who's going to give him a proper test. Because unfortunately, like, we love Alana, but she struggled with this, didn't she? Struggled. It's that second round when she got like Rise of Skywalker. Oof. I understand it's not a movie that everyone likes. Personally, I really quite enjoy that movie. So is she don't scoff at me, Ryan. I like the movie.
Look, I like it too, but I don't love it like you do. Jeez.
I didn't say I love it. I said I quite like that movie.
All right. Well, that sounds like a level 8 to a 10 of you liking that movie. For me, it's like somewhere in the middle, but whatever. We could discuss semantics after the show.
It's probably a 7 or 8. It doesn't matter. We had this favorite Star Wars movie thing before we started this. Anyway, no, so I get it. Like, she may have only watched once. If she doesn't, I don't know, Elaine. I don't know if she likes that movie or not likes it, but it's a very new movie in a way. She hasn't had enough time to really take on board all the stuff. She probably hasn't rewatched it as much as some of the previous movies. So that may be where it fell down. But no, Brennen, he needs a real test in Star Wars. I think he showed enough in this match to show that he's the real deal. Like, he went perfect. You know, you can't do much more than that. You know. So yeah, let's get him a real test. Let's get him someone, maybe not the champ, because the champ's a champ and he's only had one match. Let's go with like the Sonny or Matthew Reed, someone like that. I would say next for Brennen.
Andrew, I'm going to take this conversation a little bit differently now, because the stats and numbers speak for themselves. And I suppose the question I want to kind of pose to you is, do you think that these types of questions that we've just kind of gone through, are they potentially prepping these competitors to move up to the Movie Trivia Schmoedown next season?
I mean, I think that's an interesting idea, and I think definitely there has to be some thought going on in the backstage. I'm sure our guest, when we get to him, can potentially tell us more about this. Brad and everybody in charge, they have to be thinking some of these people are going to move up to the MTS. Some of these people are going to show up. They're going to show out like Travis has been doing, a 4-0 competitor, a 5-0 competitor, or a champion, like what happened with Nick Harley. Some of these people are going to get snatched up, but they can't possibly be preparing their entire Star Wars division. They only have a half a dozen players-ish. I'm thinking they're worried about people getting poached. I'm thinking you might be right. These questions might be designed to show what they could do in a larger format like the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. That said, if I'm in charge of the league, if I'm thinking about the league, I'm going to say I'm thinking maybe I lose 1 or 2 of these players at best. I'm not thinking about prepping them to move up any more than I am about just putting on an entertaining show right now in the FCL. That's all that you have to worry about. And I think that's all they're really concerning themselves with up front. And real quick, 2 side notes. I'll make them as brief as possible. Number 1, Brennen Marr, first person in the league with a singles win, with a Star Wars win, with an Inner Geekdom win, and the first person in the league to record a KO. Had to be said out loud once again, because that is a win is a win is a win, an incredible accomplishment. Also, PLD on the desk doing a good job. And some people were a little bit confused over, when is this match going to end? Where's the knockout going to happen? Having sat on a desk and asked some movie trivia questions, I got to tell you, you got 18 different things you're focusing on. You're asking questions, you're reading documents, you're talking to the competitors. And then you run into the middle of a second round when it really gets kind of out of sorts and the gap gets bigger and bigger. Now you have to constantly keep track of how many points are left to steal, how many potential points could be put on the board for each person. There was a bit of a stumble. PLD had some trouble and maybe almost didn't actually, but almost called the KO early. Not a big deal. These things happen. People, let it go. It's just a little tiny thing. Nobody who's done this has not made that mistake. I know I've made it before. I'm sure Christian has made it before, and Mark Ellis has made it before. Great job by PLD on the desk, and no shade whatsoever. Just wanted to throw that out there. That sort of thing does happen. Give him a little break on that one, and great work by PLD.
Oh, yeah. PLD, I've loved both times he's been on the desk. I loved it, not this week, but last week. He was so excited at the questions that were being answered right. I love that enthusiasm. But yeah, it's hard to keep track of what the score is and what could potentially be a KO mathematically in the second round, especially when depending on who's going first. If Alana had been the second spin, it would have been a lot easier to call that KO.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I just wanted to throw it out there, make sure everyone was aware. These things do happen. Not a big deal. PLD, we love you.
Travis, if I can come back to you, obviously one of the major differences with Star Wars in the FCL is the introduction of the small screen Star Wars. And unfortunately, it hasn't had too much of a factor this season thus far, other than Matthew Reed's 5 against Ross.
Yeah, it's true.
So I suppose, do we look to build out this to separate kind of categories? Like you go a Mandalorian, you go a Clone Wars, or do you stick it underneath the one umbrella still?
That's tricky because right now they've got 4 that they pull from. They pull from Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian. They're not pulling from Resistance, so just 3 right now. But when Book of Boba comes out, that's going to be another one. So you've got a huge wide net, and you've got more content than you do with the films, really, with that one category, even with just one of the shows, as far as hours of content that you have to watch. So it's a hard thing to really determine and study for, if that's a wheel slice you're going to study for. So I don't know. Yeah, it might make sense to, give the Mandalorian its own slice, give Clone Wars its own slice. Bad Batch. Yeah, Bad Batch, that's the 4th one. So
Ryan, you've had the pleasure of sitting down with Alana and having a lovely conversation in one of our Spotlight series with her. And I suppose the question I want to pose to you is Alana kind of like the Josh McCouga of the FCL, a big character who's always smiling, always entertaining, and irrelevant of the result, you know what you're going to get from her?
It's interesting you bring that up. I mean, clearly she's a much better representation of what having fun and being a character is all about than McCouga is. Sorry, McCouga, you're not my cup of tea. Never really have been, so that's not happening. But Alana Jordan is a superstar in her own right. She's great to be around. She's got great energy. And by the way, the promos that both these competitors cut between Brennen and Alana, I had no idea they had that much merch in their house. They must have big houses or big mansions, because I was asking myself, did Brennen pay someone to put all those Funko Pops and posters, framed posters, I might add, all over his ridiculously big-looking wall? And Elena's got cardboard cutouts of Mark Hamill. She's got the R2-D2 dress going on. I'm like, where did all this stuff come from? What's going on? But it's awesome. It's great to see. It's great to see it. Elena's a great. Listen, I think Alana improved in certain areas during the course of this matchup. She used JTE rules when she had to. She, spun the wheel because she wasn't comfortable with one category. She spun it again, got Rise of Skywalker, which I don't know how she feels about that movie. As Chris pointed out, I like the movie. I don't love it, but it's fine. I mean, I would have probably stuck with Jedi Order, even though the questions may have been a bit more deeper. But at the same time, Rise of Skywalker is fresh as a daisy. That's too fresh. I would have gone for another spin of one of the classic films or Rogue One, because that's a great film too. So, but Rise of Skywalker, I was listening to those questions. I'm thinking, these are tough questions because it's such a fresh movie. It's so fresh. So that was a tough round for her. It really was. This was a tough match for her, but she gave it her all. She did her best. She looked good doing it. She's got the 80s, I want to exercise all day vibe going. So Alana, honey, you be you. You're awesome. Never quit being awesome. I look forward to seeing her next matchup. And she said it herself in the post-game interview. She's up for anything. Singles, Inner Geekdom, Star Wars. She'll do it all. That's fine. I hope one of these days she wins a gosh darn match, because she's a sweet person that I know you can do it. Just got to study a bit. That's all. Maybe put a little bit less focus on the character, a little bit more focus on answering the bloody questions. But you can do it, Alana. I have faith in you. You can do it. So other than that, tough match to watch, Keith. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you know who I was rooting for in this match. So, Alana, it's all right. First round's on me when I see you. And you'll pick yourself back up, and you'll just do it all over again. And you said in your post-game interview that you're getting better now that you've gone through your struggles and you're starting to come back, and your brain's kind of rewire itself to what the trivia stuff. That's fine. Take your time. Don't worry about it. And you be you. You be you. But Alana, You're awesome. Hope to have you back on the show another time soon. Other than that, look forward to seeing your next matchup. Keith, any more questions?
Not for now. So congratulations to Brendan Marr on his victory in the Star Wars division. And we move on to the main event involving the man in the middle, Travis Fishburn, Andrew Furtado. What a duo for a main event. And I suppose, Travis, how the hell do you prepare for a guy like Andrew Furtado?
I don't know that you can. He, I think like there was a narrative going in that like it was somewhat of a squash match, but I knew like just based on seeing him before, like, and based on looking at his letterbox and knowing like his line of work and stuff, I'm like, he's not a slouch. Like I don't take anybody lightly, and especially not him. I knew he was going to put up a fight, and he definitely did. And what he really brought was the character work, which is, I think, just second to none right now.
He is one of the electrifying, if I can use your word, Ryan, competitors within the FCL, definitely. But listen, let's talk round one. Travis, you came in with a round one average this season so far of 7.6, and coming out of it, you got 8. So you were up, if you could be, anyway, more up on your season average. Andrew actually also was coming in with a 5.5 average of round one, and he upped his to 6 by a half point. Talking about the questions themselves, we both go 4 of 4 in the first 4. Kirsten Stewart and Chris Hemsworth are the stars of Snow White and the Huntsman. Ray is the answer to the Black Cinema question. Christopher Walken was the actor of the 3 movies. Dwayne Johnson was in The Rundown. And then Andrew misses the next 2 in 2010's This Accountant movie, the 2010 Gavin O'Connor film. And unfortunately, with a repeat, he can't pull Amy Adams in Big Eyes in the drama question. You both round out knowing Veronica Corningstone in Anchorman, being Christina Applegate, and that Frank Oz is the director of Muppets Take Manhattan, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Indian in the Cupboard. You'll get your bonus question of Randall Pink Floyd in 93's Dazed and Confused. You can't pull that, unfortunately, but a 2-point lead, 8-6, a lot of self-preparation to make sure that you were ready to come into this, and you really showed your round one skills straight off the bat.
Yeah, no, I think like William Bibbiani, that's my bread and butter is round one. But yeah, PLD's bonus questions for perfect round ones have been, I think, increasingly difficult because I don't know the lead of that movie. Apparently, to me, I'm like, it's going to be McConaughey or Affleck because those are the 2 names. But.
Andrew, you must be happy to see Furtado back on your screen. A lot of great character work, as Travis has alluded to already.
Well, I'm always thrilled to see Andrew Furtado on my screen because, as you said, he's an electrifying competitor. He's got the character. When Furtado shows up, you know one thing and one thing only. You will be entertained. Will he win the match? Maybe. He's not a bad competitor. Like you said yourself, he's got 6 points average in round one, just about. Round 2, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I have to assume it's going to be similar, somewhere around a 6 out of 8. And again, round 3, as long as he can scrape by that 5, along with those sorts of numbers, he's going to put up 17, 18, 20, something around there in points, which means you are going to have to work, even on an average day, to face down against someone like Furtado. And now, with the backing of the Flouse, it's even more interesting to see what's going on. How will this develop? How will that affect his game? Did he even want to be in this matchup? From the promos, it looked like he was kind of not too excited to take you on, Mr. Fishburn. And if I can look at your record, I will say, good for Andrew. That's probably smart. Taking you on seems like a recipe for a loss so far. But yes, Keith, absolutely thrilled to see him back in here. Would have liked to see a little more out of the early rounds, a little more of getting those questions, pulling them out. But he used his time. He did take consideration on all of these. I can't totally fault any of the strategy. Anything he held back may have been because he might have needed it in later rounds. So happy to see him. Not so happy to see him trailing early because I know against a competitor the caliber of Mr. Fishburn, you really don't want to be any further behind than you have to be. 1 or 2 points is about the most you can afford at any time because you fall 3 or 4 points behind, like I said before. That's where you start to get in your head. That's where you start to say, how can I catch up? I need to stretch for that extra point. I need to take a guess here when maybe you don't have to, when maybe you could cut down to a multiple choice, or you could take a little bit more time, or just not try to say anything out loud that'll give your opponent the clue. There's a lot of considerations to be made. And I think the problem for Andrew Furtado in this match was not that he didn't play well. It's that he was up against someone so strong, someone who is going to stay ahead and keep that pressure on consistently. That's what's going to sink him in this match more than anything else.
Ryan, Gavin O'Connor's filmography is quite small, so is The Accountant a bad miss on that kind of logic?
I mean, I guess it could it could be considered to be one, because when they brought that up, I'm thinking 2010's film, so and so is in this movie, so and so is in this movie. Yeah, The Accountant, I remember, because I was there. So I would have been able to pull that one. And by the way, Andrew Furtado is like a completely different person ever since he started joining forces with whatever his name is, Flouse something. He's wearing tank tops. He's wearing a weird looking hat that I think it says pew pew like Star Wars. I don't know. Maybe someone correct me on that in the chat. But you're wearing a tank top. You're wearing a lanyard that's got a bunch of pins on it. You got tattoos up the yin yang. I'm like, what happened to this guy? What happened to the $80 suit professional looking dude? He's now just a beach bum or something. And I mean, he's still wearing his glasses, so he's got that look of professionalism going for him. But at the same time, I'm thinking, and in the promo, he's like, why am I here? What am I doing again? Dude, if you're too scared to go up against Grand Theft Auto Vice City Extra Travis Fishburn, even though you're a great competitor, Travis, I don't mean
he's on the show this week, Ryan.
Jesus,
Ryan. Hey, listen, Travis, I don't mean this as a slight, okay? I mean this with all due respect. It's a positive thing. It's a positive thing.
Oh no, it's all right. I hear it every week. It's fine.
Thank you. Okay, there you go. You're welcome, Travis.
Thanks for listening.
You're seeing these two different looks, and I'm thinking, what is Andrew doing here? What does he even do? But then again, he put up a heck of a match, which we'll dive into in rounds 2 and 3. Because my gosh, this match was a heck of a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Travis, I thought you were going to knock him out after round 2, to be perfectly honest, because he's like all worrisome, dancing around, drinking from a. By the way, did you notice what was on his cup? It says Flouse's secret stuff from Space Jam. I'm like, okay, you're giving me some 90s references. I like that, but at the same time, what are you doing with yourself, Andrew? Why are you doing this? But anyway, yeah, great first round, great questions. Probably would have gone 9 for 9. No offense, Travis, but I would have been able to pull that Jason London one from him. But that's okay. We all have mistakes. We all have our misses. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Great round by both competitors. Wouldn't you say, Keith?
I would, Ryan, and I would also be very kind to our guests on screen, and maybe save the jabs for afterwards. But listen, let's move into round 2. Travis, you are one of the few competitors this season who chooses to go first, even with a round 1 lead. Can I ask, is that a set strategy that you go into every match with, or is that just kind of on a play-by-play, depending on how you're feeling on the night?
I would say it's probably more of a play-by-play, but I always just kind of want to go and keep the momentum going. To me, it's more about momentum than anything else, as well as I like having the whole wheel. And I know some people might not like that, but I do like having it all to choose from at the beginning.
Well, in this instance, your competitor unfortunately had the whole wheel to choose from as he spun opponent's choice, and he decided to saddle you with Kate Blanchett. You had a round 2 average coming into this of 7.3, and you come out of this round with 7 points. So I would say you're fairly still on point all in all. You know that the 2010 drama question is Carol. Where'd you go? Bernadette comes up. I'm Not There is about Bob Dylan, and then on the multiple choice going down on how many times has Blanchett been nominated for Best Actress. You say 4, you get the point. Moving on to Furtado, his first spin, Jackie Chan decides to take it, sweeps it 8 for 8 for the second time this season. He was coming in with a round 2 average of 7, so he's upped it by 1. Kung Fu Panda is asked, Shanghai Nights is asked, Martin Campbell is director of The Foreigner, and then gets this final question, the medallion of the 2003 action comedy with himself, Lee Evans and Julian Sands. Ryan, is there more pressure on Furtado to go perfect, having had an opponent's choice go in his favor?
I would say yes. When you get opponent's choice and then you get a category that you're happy with Jackie Chan, which, by the way, Andrew Furtado, I had no idea you were such a big, massive Jackie Chan fan. So mad props, man, mad props. Look, I have a few of his films that I enjoy too. Granted, I prefer Rush Hour 1, 2, and a few of the others to some of his other films. I haven't seen The Foreigner yet, so no spoilers, Furtado, no spoilers. Look forward to watching that at some point because I like director Martin Campbell. He's a boss of a director for the most part, not counting Green Lantern, but that's a separate thing. So, yeah, a lot of pressure on him. But, man, did he put up a heck of a fight going all for 8 for 8 in round 2. My goodness, this guy may be wearing a beach-like outfit. He may be a nervous Nelly out of his mind to go up against the great, great, great Travis Fishburn. But, man, is he putting up a heck of a fight. Am I right, Keith?
Definitely. And Chris, to Ryan's point, it's impressive by both competitors, but even still, it's by no means a blowout, as was alluded to when this match was first announced.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'll openly admit obviously Furtado was our first ever guest in the show. Got lots of love for him. But going into this match, I did not see it going his way. I was right because it didn't go his way. But he did a lot better than I thought he was. And honestly, he's really impressed me. Maybe it comes to me, maybe he's one of those kind of the competitors that, the tougher the competition, he steps up to meet that competition. Do you know what I mean? Because, he obviously he defeated, who did he defeat first? John Knight first, yeah. And obviously John Knight's had his own struggles in the league himself, sort of thing. So he got the win there, but then he lost then to, I believe it was one of the Adamses.
It was Robert. Yeah.
So I don't know. I wasn't expecting much, apart from great promo work and great character work from him, and he thoroughly impressed me this much, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very pleased for him. And it's unfortunate he's just kind of come up against what seems to be a bit of a steam train in the FCL at the minute, in our guest here.
Yeah. Every answer he gave, too, he kept me on my toes. I was waiting for the steals, but he did not allow that to happen by answering right at the buzzer every time.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Furtado, he gets that opening with the opponent's choice, but he just can't get Travis to bleed twice is what he needs at this stage.
This is a tough spot for Andrew Furtado. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of his. Now that he's drinking Zafort and Flouse's secret stuff, I can't wait for his double live concert album to drop so I can snatch it up right away and hear the magic happen. Andrew Furtado, opponent's choice, Travis Fishburn. Let me just ask you this question, Keith. I'll fire it right back at you. What do you give an opponent like Travis Fishburn? What is he going to miss at? What is he going to have trouble with? So far, and Travis, I'm not just trying to butter you up here. You've been consistent and strong across the board. There's not a lot of reading weaknesses, so you have to give him the category that you think is best. I think Cate Blanchett is, it's a noble shot. Maybe not a big Blanchett fan. She's not necessarily the most mainstream actress. Usually, she has a couple, obviously, huge roles that everybody's familiar with. I think it's played well. And I also want to say, I'm usually a proponent of going second. I'm a proponent of complete information on your wheel, knowing what your opponent has, knowing I can go to multiple choice. I can lose a point here. I can let him get a steal if I need to and just take a shot at this. But if you do want to play ahead, like Travis did in this round, you have to do one thing and one thing only, and you have to start from ahead. You have to have that point lead going into round number 2 if you want to put the pressure on, if you want to make your opponent chase you and do that spin first. And again, for Travis, not so difficult. He generally enters round 2 with a lead. So I think well played, both guys. Very surprised by Furtado. Even as a fan of his, did not expect the sweep of the Jackie Chan category. Good work there. And wow, what an exciting turn. The match is now closer. It's now tighter. It's now even more in jeopardy for both competitors. I think this is a great way to come out of a round number 2. I'm super pumped as we go into the final round.
So let's finish this out. Round 3, Furtado's 2 is in 2000s. This 23 mystery crime film was directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Sean Penn, Kevin Bacon, and Tim Robbins' Mystic River. Travis, you counter with your 2 in 2010s. What film does Leo win an Oscar for? The Revenant. We're all under 3s. Furtado's 3 in the 80s. What 83 film does a prostitute take a glass egg from Tom Cruise as payment in? Risky Business. Back to you, Travis. Directors, Kirsten Dunst, Kathleen Turner, and Josh Hartnett in what 99 Sofia Coppola film, The Virgin Suicides. And then it's all on Furtado on his 5 in the category of Spielberg. This 74 crime drama with Goldie Hawn, William Atherton was Steven Spielberg and John Williams' first collaboration. To be fair to Furtado, winds down the clock, uses his last 2 JTEs, uses every second that he can, and unfortunately, heartbreakingly says Sugar Hill Express, but the answer is the Sugar Land Express 2019. And your winner, Travis Fishburn. And Andrew, back to you. It's a heartbreaking loss for Furtado not to push Travis all the way to his 5. But you have to say, in the same vein as Robert Adams a few weeks ago, it's probably his best performance, even in a loss.
Again, I have a lot of sympathy for Furtado in this situation. As you know, maybe the best match that I've ever played in movie trivia was against Robert Parker. Exactly the same thing happens to me. I get deep into round number 3. I'm putting the pressure on and staying pretty close. And then it all falls apart on the last couple questions and very, very close answers. That can be just gutting when that happens to you. He's off by a syllable in this case. He's right there. It's a 50-point game, and Travis has to answer back to win if he gets this correct, and he's off by such a small margin. All in all, I want to say the strategy was played well by Furtado. The character was strong. Furtado, you can do the Bateman thing, but please, please, please call your answer on 2. Don't give the announcers a chance to take the question from you. You were real close more than once, and I don't want that to happen to you, especially if you know what the answer is. In a great match like this, I want it to go as deep as it can. In the end, what happened to Furtado here is not a lack of strategy. It's not a lack of good gameplay. It's not a lack of anything that you need to succeed as a movie trivia competitor. Instead, the loss for him can be summed up in 2 words and 4 syllables: Travis Fishburn. This is what cost Andrew Furtado the win. Not his play, but the play of his opponent. Incredibly well handled by Mr. Fishburn. And I'd say very well handled by Mr. Furtado as well. I would love to see these two going at it again in the future. You know you're going to have a good time. You know you're going to see some good points on the board. And in the end, congratulations are due and absolutely earned by our guest today, Mr. Fishburn, with the victory over Andrew Furtado. I was pulling for your opponent, Travis, but you played pretty well. So I'm happy with the outcome here.
No, with the way he played, I wouldn't have been mad if he won. I'm like, he definitely he would have earned it.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, it's a great character beats from Furtado throughout this match from start to finish, even at the end when it's on your winner, Travis Fishburn, and he just roars, Flouse! It's an exhibition in character work, I think.
It is. It's truly the best I think we've got in the league, to be honest. And I'm very excited to see where this relationship between Furtado and the Flouse goes. I don't know, it seems a bit like what we do in the shadows. He may be the Flouse's familiar kind of, I don't know, doing this. I have no idea what it is, what's going on there with him, but I'm very excited that that's a pairing that's been put together, to be honest, because if we know anything about the Flouse, he's entertaining anyway, and Furtado, for me, has been pretty much number one for that from the league from the very beginning. So just excited to see where it goes from now, to be honest.
Ryan, our guest, not only moves to 4-0, but he's also 6 from 6 in round 3 questions this season.
Well, in the words of a wise man from 1980 once said, impressive, most impressive. So I gotta give credit where credit's due. Great match by both competitors. This was a lot closer than I ever thought it would be. I mean, honestly, at the end of this match, I pulled a Scott Mance. That was a great match. Like, honestly, it really was. Travis, you, Furtado, whatever your antics were, your promos going into the match were great. The whole time you were playing the match was strong. Great questions, great answers. That 5-pointer at the end, that's Spielberg. If that is a 5-pointer, if I ever heard one, that is a 5-pointer. That's a giant monster of a question. There's no way I would have been able to pull it. Full disclosure, Travis. But great match by both. Look forward to seeing what they both do, even though Furtado's and the whole whatever, the ZW, whatever it is. You know, Zaflurton, whatever his name is, John Knight, selling his soul to the devil himself. I don't know why he did that. But Furtado, their alliance, I think it's going to crumble faster than you can say, oh, you know, or whatever. And, you know, the bottom line is Travis is the winner. And that's what matters. The good man won. The good people won this week. So I'm proud of you, Travis, for playing the way that you did. If Furtado put up a heck of a fight, I mean, honest to God, there were a lot of surprises during this match. And by the way, Furtado, have you been talking to Ben Bateman? Waiting to the last second to give your answer? Are you pulling a Bateman? Don't do that. Don't do that ever again. We have one Ben Bateman in this country. I don't want another one. You understand me? Don't pull Batemans. Don't do that. It disrespects the game. Okay?
I mean, it works because during the 5, I'm like, he knows it. He's like biding his time. I'm like, he's got this. And when he started to say, I'm like, here it comes. And then he said Hill. And I was like, oh, oh no.
True,
I mean,
but I still don't like the antics, though. But other than that, solid match. Look forward to seeing what happens next. And Travis, if you're not given a title shot after this week's matchup, I don't know what Brad and Steven or Steph, is that his name? Her name? Steve's. Yeah. I don't know what the commissioners of the FCL are thinking, but yeah, this was a great week of matches. There's no question about it. Everyone put up great entertainment, to pull a Russell Crowe. Are you not entertained? Yes, we were. And I cannot wait to see what happens in FCL. What is it, 23 now? Is it 23 or 24?
24 next week, I believe.
24, thank you. Yeah, so FCL 24, as of this recording, we don't know what the next 2 matches are going to be. So I'm curious to see what the commissioners of the FCL have in store for us. But Travis Fishburn, once again, congratulations, good sir.
Thank you.
And I suppose, Travis, we have to finish with you, as we're kind of going through the rounds here, 7.6, 7.3, 6 out of 6 in round 3. There's not really much more you can improve on realistically, except maybe hitting your bonus question in round 1. But I suppose the real question ultimately is, how do we get you to the Flouse for that lovely belt?
I don't know. I wish I knew how to get there. I've been aiming for it the whole time.
Well, I suppose, listen, a 4-0 record moving on in this league is a strong way of getting there. And as Ryan has alluded to, unfortunately, we do not know what the card is for FCL24. So, Mr. Elk, please see us out for another week.
Well, it's been a wonderful week of action on the FCL and, of course, here on This Week in the FCL. We've had some great matches, some great guests. 2 real titans emerging in the movie trivia sphere as Travis Fishburn advances to 4-0. Brennen Marr, 3 victories, 3 divisions, first knockout in the FCL. You can say a lot of things about this week, but what you cannot say is that the winners of this week's matches didn't bring their A games and really show up and show out all the way through. And I've had a great time talking with all of my regular co-hosts, including Keith, and our wonderful special guest, Travis Fishburn, to talk all the matches on FCL 23. It's been a great having you here, Travis. As always, folks, if you're interested in finding out more, this show is available on YouTube and on all your favorite podcast feeds. Feel free to check that out on Apple Music, Spotify, all those other things that Anchor lets us do, I'm sure. And you can also check out our Spotlight series where we sit down individually with individuals from the FCL and talk to them about what makes them tick, how they got into movies, pretty much anything that strikes our mind. So our Spotlight series is up on our channel as well. Feel free to check that out. I am the Elk online on Twitter at Kelk Andrew, K-E-L-K Andrew, and my co-host, of course, also available online. If you want to reach out, you want to let us know we're doing an amazing job on this show, that one's for me, or we need to improve, send those to Keith. You can reach them online as well. Chris, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ChrisBarnes_UK and Instagram, The Movie Barnes. Or if you want to send complaints about Ryan or Keith or Andrew upsetting our guests, send them to the at This Week FCL Twitter account. Okay, so I don't have too many in my own personal inbox.
All right, crazy. Keith Kilduff, how about you? Where can everybody find you?
Twitter and Instagram at Keekleduff89, and check out the Opening Pair Podcast Network on YouTube and podcast. Also, this week we dropped our 3rd episode of The Art of Conversation, where I sat down with FCL competitor and Scottish filmmaker David Campbell. Had a great conversation, about 40 minutes. Do check that out. Ryan Parmesan, as always, 60 seconds on the clock. Tell them about all the things you're working on.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Check out our YouTube channel, Nerd Culture. We post new videos every week. Follow us on all forms of social media, simply at It's Nerd Culture. Check out my podcast called The Nerdcast. It's on Anchor, Google, Spotify. Wherever you download them, you can find it there. I talk about 2 movies every episode of some of the latest movies I've had a chance to see, some classics, some modern, everything in between. And also check out my show called And I Quote. It's on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube channel, where I interview content creators of all shapes and sizes. We have friendly conversations. We find out what projects they have planned for the future. So check it out. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to be here. And last but certainly not least, the winner chicken dinner, the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that is just, too sweet to be sour, the winner of this week's FCL main event matchup, Travis Fishburn. Where can all the good people on the interwebs find you and everything you have coming up, good sir?
Oh, wow. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Travis Fishburn. You can also find a podcast that I host along with some other gentlemen. It's called Who Watches Podcast. It's been a few weeks since we have put an episode up due to scheduling, but when we do stream, we'll go to YouTube and podcast feed there. But yeah, that's where you find me.
Well, it is a great idea to check out all the wonderful content being produced by everyone on screen right now. I know Ryan's always working hard. Travis, I'm going to check out that podcast at my soonest opportunity, and it's been a pleasure having you here. I will be getting in touch so I can ask you where to buy my next Hawaiian shirt. Clearly, you've got the good stuff on hookup. And congratulations again on your 4-0, your big victory. I don't think it's a stretch to say that our guest this week very well will have a title of some sort in the movie trivia sphere in the future. Not may, not could. He will definitely have one of those titles. Travis, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, as it has to all of our guests. And to all of you, our first-class fans, thank you for joining us. Remember to check us out, follow, leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do. And we'll see you all as we break it down once again next week on This Week in the FCL.